Respirate. Today's round will take place in the mitochondria stage. Last week, our contestants completed in the cytosol. The cytosol is home to the process of glycolysis, also known as sugar splitting. Two ATP molecules begin glycolysis. Phosphates from ATPs are added to glucose from fructose 1, 6-biphosphate in the process of phosphorylation. The less stable molecule formed is split into 3 carbon sugars called G3P. 2 G3P molecules enter the oxidation phase, involving ATP formation and coenzyme NAD. NADH is formed and energy is released in order to add an inorganic phosphate to the remaining 3 carbon compound. A compound with 2 phosphate groups is formed, while enzymes remove the phosphate groups, so they can be added to ADP to ATP. The end result includes 4 ATPs, 2 NADP molecules, and 2 pyruvates. This week, our final 2 contestants are going to be completing to see who can answer enough questions to complete the citric acid cycle, also known as the Krebs cycle, and move on to the final stage, the electron transport chain, and complete aerobic respiration, making them the final winner. How this stage will work is that there are going to be 8 different levels that the contestants must pass by correctly answering trivia questions about the Krebs cycle and ATP. At the end of the 8 stages, the winner will have produced 3 NADH, 1 FADH2, and 1 GTP. He or she will then move on to the Christe stage. Now, let's welcome our 2 contestants, Moko Ono and Godot the street performer. And with us are 3 lovely hostesses, and who will be handing the product points to 2 contestants as they reach their preceding carbon compound.
Focus on me. Focus on me. Focus on me. Focus on me.
Due to inclement weather changes, we have moved the game inside. As the contestants enter the stage, they will walk onto our game board representing the Krebs cycle. They're currently holding acetyl coenzyme A's earned from last week's episode.
As they move to the first station, the acetyl group from acetyl coenzyme A will join with the 4-carbon compound oxaloacetate. Together they form the 6-carbon compound citrate. A water molecule assists in the release of the coenzyme A group. With this, our contestants are ready to begin the Krebs cycle stage. All reactions occurring during the Krebs cycle will be assisted and demonstrated by our 3 gorgeous hostesses.
Now for the first question. In the first step of the Krebs cycle, oxaloacetate, a 4-carbon compound is joined by the acetyl group in acetyl coenzyme A to form a 6th compound called citrate. What happens to the coenzyme?
The coenzyme A is released by the water molecule. Vive la France!
That's right.
The 6-carbon compound is oxidized into a 5-carbon compound, isocitrate. As a carbon molecule is released as the waste product, CO2. The energy from this reaction reduces NAD+ to NADH via the addition of a high-energy electron.
Second question. Carbon dioxide is a common waste product of aerobic respiration. From what reactant does the oxygen molecule in carbon dioxide come from?
The answer is quite obvious, my dear. It would be oxygen.
Sorry, that's wrong.
Ting 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 ting. As Americans like to call it, it's H2O.
That's right. At the next location, 1 more carbon dioxide molecule is released, making the 5C compound a 4C compound at that location. The energy from that reaction is what reduced NAD+ to NADH, so at that location, 1 carbon dioxide molecule and 1 NADH molecule is produced. Third question. In the third step of the Krebs cycle, we see our first generation of NADH through the breaking down of an intermediate known as isocitrate and the release of the CO2 molecule. What is the purpose of NADH? Ting 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 ting!
Pardon, je ne sais pas.
Oh, yes. NADH is used in oxidative phosphorylation in the electron transport chain to generate ATP.
That's right. Question number 5. The Krebs cycle is the middle part of 3 cycles that complete aerobic respiration, preceded by glycolysis and followed by the electron transport chain. What is the equation for aerobic respiration?
To my understanding, you have glucose and carbon dioxide, and that makes energy. Yes?
Sorry, that's wrong.
Ting 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 ting.
That's right.
At this next step, guanosine diphosphate, or GDP, is combined with an inorganic phosphate molecule to form with guanosine triphosphate, or GTP. GTP and ATP are similar as both provide energy to carry out many of the body's functions. It's also responsible for regulating biochemical pathways. Once ATP has been used up, it converts back to an inactive ADP form, ready to be recycled.
6th question. At the end of the Krebs cycle, the 6-carbon compound is decarboxylated back to the oxaloacetate, in the process producing NADH, FADH2, ATP, and carbon dioxide as a waste product. What is the net yield of ATP produced per acetyl coenzyme of A?
If I had to channel my inner spirits, I would go with 3, the number of my deceased ancestor.
What? No.
Ting 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 ting. Oui, what ATP? Oui.
That's right.
In the next oxidation reduction step, FADH is reduced to FADH2. FADH2 and NADH are both carried over to the electron transport chain to provide an electrochemical gradient for the oxidative phosphorylation of ATP.
7th question. NADH and FADH2 produced from the Krebs cycle carry high energy electrons into the electron transport chain to generate ATP. How is the high hydrogen ion gradient created by electron transport chain used to phosphorylate ADP into ATP?
Ting 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 ting. They are pumped through the ATP synthase complex.
That's right.
Finally, the third and last NADH molecule is produced, completing one round of the Krebs cycle. At the end of one cycle, the Krebs cycle yields a total of 3 NADH molecules, 1 FADH2 molecules, and 1 ATP molecule, and 2 carbon dioxide molecules as a waste product. One glucose molecule produces 2 rounds of the Krebs cycle, so the total yield of one round of aerobic respiration produces 6 NADH molecules, 2 FADH2 molecules, 2 ATP molecules, and 4 carbon dioxide molecules. At this point, citrate will have been converted back into oxaloacetate, ready to undergo another round.
Congratulations, good day to the street performer. Are you ready to move to the next round?
Pardon? Schnitzel.
Did you catch that? What you just saw were the actions that led to the phosphorylation of ADP into ATP. Once a hydrogen ion gradient is produced in the intermembrane space of the mitochondrion, hydrogen ions can then power the ATP synthase complex to generate enough energy for phosphorylation. Godot demonstrated a hydrogen ion going through the motor of the ATP synthase complex. Now explaining the electron transport chain. A series of intramembrane carriers that pump hydrogen ions from the mitochondrial matrix on one side of the membrane to the intermembrane space on the other side. The pumps are powered by the carriage of electrons through protein carriers. The electrons originate from NADH and FADH2 when they enter the electron transport chain. Once electrons reach their final acceptor, oxygen, they are used to form H2O and then for the gradient.
So, how did it feel being a hydrogen ion during ATP synthase?
Well, like my French brothers like to say, the key to success is to put energy into the croissant. We go to the Eiffel Tower and we come back. Vive la France!
Now to crown the winner of Can You Respirate? The winner is Moko Ono!
I have to apologize.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort, stacking penny stocks while I'm